We have Quinn Christensen with us this morning. Hi, Quinn.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. It's Friday.
Oh, it is, and we're hoping for a whole lot of sunshine.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's kind of cloudy when you guys drove in, wasn't it?
A little hazy.
Yeah. Look, can you smell that? I've smelled the smoke sometimes too.
Yes.
I think that's really weird. I always hope it's not my vehicle, but then I remind myself, Canada's on fire. Yes.
This is true. Yes.
Right. And it's coming here. So kind of hazy sunshine here, but other than that, yes, it is a Finance Friday. It is Friday. Why don't you tell us what you do at the bank? What's your position there?
Sure. So I am the Senior Vice President of Operations and the Chief Information Officer. A mouthful.
So what does that mean?
Yeah, really, right? Yeah. So basically, I run all the everyday operations of the bank.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
I oversee the branch locations,
Okay.
our retail, so everything, on our deposit products,
Sure.
and customer service staff, call center staff, information technology,
So you are the man.
operations. Yes.
Everybody answers to you.
I keep the place running, yes, so that all the, everybody else can, go out
Just
and
do their job.
meet the people. And,
Yeah.
yes.
It's a lot of stuff, isn't it?
It is.
I think a lot of people would be surprised to find out what goes on behind the scenes at banks.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we come in, we go to the counter, we leave, we maybe talk to officers for loans and things like that. But there's a lot of things that happen.
Oh, yeah,
It's
definitely.
a big thing. So you guys are a community bank.
Mhm.
Let's talk about community banking, because we're hearing that a lot, and I feel like it's a term that really makes our ears perk up because we like community. A lot of people want to feel part of a community.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the power of community banking. We want to stop that. Want to just jump down there and talk about community
Sure.
banking right now?
Yeah,
Okay, because
yeah.
we're going to talk about you too, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
But what is a community bank? What's the difference between that and maybe a huge commercial bank?
Sure. So the biggest difference is that a community bank, and there's plenty of them around here.
Right, yeah.
They are all locally owned, managed, operated here in these communities.
Sure.
So, any bank that you know of that's like headquartered in these towns
Mm-hmm.
would be more considered a community bank, where they're not reporting to a larger entity in
Right.
a big city. Kind of more local control there.
I like
Yeah.
that. Most people would like that, more local control, because you're the ones making the decision instead of somebody who doesn't even know you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a big thing. And
Mhm.
you've been there for 19 years with this bank, with the People's
Yes.
Community Bank. So you probably have seen a lot of changes in the way a community bank works.
Oh, definitely. Yes. Yes.
So when you started, how did you start getting into banking? Were you a teller?
So, well, there's even a story before that,
Oh,
even.
okay.
So, so I grew up in Maisel-Maney,
Okay.
and
Sure.
when I was about 10 years old or so, so my mother worked at the bank,
Okay.
and I knew everybody that worked at the bank, right? And so I got the opportunity to, after school, come to the bank to roll coins,
Oh.
stuff statements.
I love it.
That was back when you would file checks because you get your actual
Sure.
canceled checks in your bank statement. Yeah, so
Yep.
I did that. So at age 10, I was already at the bank.
You were hooked, huh?
I loved it. Yeah, I knew what I wanted to do when I grew up. And then at 15, when I was finally,
15.
old enough to, take a paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started as a high school teller, so I would
Oh
come
my
after
gosh.
school and run the drive up and
Sure.
Saturday mornings, and
Oh my gosh.
I never left.
At 15.
Yeah.
Same bank.
So same bank.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So
That's loyalty.
It's
Yes.
I couldn't find anything better. This is the best place to work, and
Okay.
so now I'm in Spring Green.
Okay.
So I went off to school in Indiana, but came back. But then I've been at the Spring Green location now since so about 12 years or so.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
impressive. So, folks, basically, talk to Quinn Christensen. He knows the ins and outs of this bank like crazy. The People's Community Bank. Check it out. Talk to Quinn. Are you usually milling around, or do you have your own office that you kind of hide in?
I have a pretty my office is pretty obvious to see,
Yeah.
in the lobby. Yeah. So
People
I,
can just come in and say, "Hey, Quinn, how you doing?"
yeah, I actually I am proud to say I have the largest office in the bank, and I have a
Okay.
piano in my office.
You have a
So,
what?
A piano.
You have a piano because you
Yeah.
do play.
I do. Yep.
Yeah. That is also a nice thing to know about you. So, do you sometimes just break out in song at work?
I mean, at times, sometimes when we we actually have a couple employees that play.
Oh my gosh, that's
but
fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's my little fun fact about myself is, I mean, who else, what other banker has,
Right,
a
piano in their office. Well, you guys are rated one of the top places to work.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I'm thinking the
Yep.
piano in the office probably is a part of that. Yeah, that's actually impressive. So you live in Mineral Point.
Yep. Mhm.
Yep, you live there, and you've been in the area for a long time. So Maisie Maney, Mineral Point, you know the area.
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit more. We're going to go off topic here. Tell me a little bit more about your piano playing.
Sure. So I have been a church musician most of my life. I started
Sure.
playing organ at churches, starting in about the 8th grade.
Okay.
Currently, I'm the director of music and organist at Grace Lutheran Church here in
Sure.
Dodgeville.
Familiar,
So
yeah.
shout out to all my friends there.
Yeah, we run
But-
that way. So we hear you on Sunday mornings.
Yes, Sunday
during
mornings,
church.
9 a.m.
Yep.
right here on the station.
I love it. That is actually really neat. So did you learn to play by yourself or did you go to lessons?
I took lessons. Yep,
Yeah.
took piano lessons for many years, and then when I
That's
was
fantastic.
finally old enough to reach the pedals on the organ and
Sure.
everything, then I took organ lessons. Studied
There's
in
not
college.
a lot of people that play the organ anymore, is there?
No.
So yeah, you keep that up. Yeah. This also makes you part of the community too. It makes everybody know you, and you're part of the bank there, and you're a community bank. So people know you. It's like a big family.
Mhm.
People, everywhere you go, hey Quinn, how you doing? So let's jump back to more of the we're back and forth here on the community bank aspect, because obviously you're a part of the community.
Mhm.
People know you. You've done a lot of good. You've been at that bank forever. What are some examples of how a community bank reinvests in the community?
Sure. So there's really, I guess on a more economic standpoint, the example I have is, let's say that there's multiple banks in a town running a CD special,
Okay.
right? So, and you have some money to invest and you want to put it in a CD.
Yes.
Well, if you go to a community bank, that money that you're giving to that community bank in a CD then is turned around and given out as loans to the small businesses
Sure.
in town, to maybe somebody's buying some land, or
Right.
a construction loan to start a new house. That's coming from your CD.
That you're helping.
Where
Yeah.
if you put that same money in a CD in a larger national bank that might have a branch location around here, or maybe you drive into the city to
Right.
go there.
And people still do that.
Oh yeah.
sometimes.
And that money is actually being taken out of our communities and then brought to New York, Chicago,
Sure.
where
Their
that's
headquarters.
where there's a higher demand for that
Yeah.
loan activity. So it keeps the money local. And anything, and then you think too that any income that the customer receives on that CD is spent
Sure.
here in these communities.
Yeah.
You're supporting that bank that too is
Local.
exactly.
So we,
Yeah.
we often hear shop local, and you
Mhm.
think brick and mortar buildings or like the farmers markets around here, but banks.
Yes.
Banking local is also shopping local.
We are included in that, yes,
Yeah.
to shop local. You're supporting again the staff that work there.
Mhm.
Work there.
Mhm.
And what other national bank would you have a church organist
Right,
banker?
with a piano in his office.
But
Right.
you're supporting the staff there that are at all the community events and volunteering their time at all the
Yes.
nonprofits around
Yep.
here. You're supporting again the economy by keeping the money in these towns rather than being
Sure.
taken out.
It
Yeah.
makes a huge difference.
Mhm.
Shopping local, bank local. It's all the same there, folks. So what do the employees think of working there, and how do the employees at community banks differ from those who would be at national banks? What's the benefit for the employees?
Definitely more of a small town feel.
Sure.
And we have a lot of tenure at the bank. Once people start, they stay there.
Like from 10 on.
Exactly. Yeah. We stay there, and the bankers that you make a relationship with are there for years. And so
Yes,
I
exactly.
love to hear those stories of business owners in the community that say 30 years ago I got my first loan with you guys,
Oh my
and
gosh.
here I am now ready to retire, or
Right.
it's just we're here with you through the whole time. Where when you have just banks in the city,
Mhm.
there could be more turnover. You don't recognize your tellers anymore.
Right. Yes. That's a
And
big
they're not
factor.
the same people that you sit with in the bleachers at sporting
Yes,
events. They're not the
right.
people you see around town at
Right.
gallery night in Mineral Point,
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Lots of fun stuff out there, and keeping it local, and you guys know your customers. Sometimes they're your friends and neighbors, sometimes even family members. So
Mhm.
you're able to help them with their loans a lot more. You know their situation, so you can make a more educated, helping them educating that way, because you're educated with their background.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So that does help, because shopping local makes a big difference. So technology, community bank, national bank, is there any difference there?
That's a common, I would say, misperception a little bit, that the larger banks have the infrastructure or the budgets to have better technology. But I have to say that community banks, they keep up pretty well.
Yeah.
We still have, all the, regular conveniences of, mobile wallets, debit card controls, online banking.
Sure.
In the early 90s, I want to say, and this is already a while back, but the People's Community Bank back at that time, we were one of the first banks in the state of Wisconsin to offer online banking.
Really?
So it's like, the community banks are really leaders in technology as well.
I like that.
So.
And you also work as IT there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's a big thing. And unfortunately, there are hackers out there. Do they try to get into your systems too? Is there ways you guys are preventing all of that?
Oh gosh, yes. That is a 24-hour job. I am on call all the time to see if there's, anything happening in the network.
Sure.
And that's definitely, yeah.
Scammers, hackers, they're out there all the time.
That too, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So your bank here, folks, your community bank, the People's Community Bank, is out there watching out for you. And you're watching that all the time, checking for the hackers and the scammers and making sure everything is secure. Because there's a lot of ways you do that you make things secure. So during COVID-19, how did community banks play a role during that? Because it was a difficult time for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, banks in general, I have to say that, I feel like, we were all supportive of our essential workers that were still going into the office every day.
Yeah.
But I think that sometimes bankers were maybe forgotten a little bit in that too, that everybody else, you still received your direct deposit in your checking account. You were able to cash your stimulus checks or your PPP loan money, or so the staff were there through the whole time. And but then too, when small businesses around the area were applying for those Paycheck Protection Program loans, they were able to meet with their lenders immediately, fill out those applications, get the funds really fast. Where again, if you were more in a larger city setting, you're just one in the queue.
You're just a number.
And,
Yeah. Wow. So there's reasons, folks, why you should bank at a community bank. Many, many. How do you guys support the next generation coming up? Students, young professionals. I know you as a young student, the bank supported you completely here. But how are you helping the younger generation?
Sure. So, at the schools, we love to volunteer our time, teach financial literacy to our students.
That's
how to
important.
maintain a budget, how to invest, things like that. And then, at the bank too, yes, we love to hire, high school staff and, give those students a chance to get a real world job and see what the banking industry is like. And we also offer an internship program for university students. And we currently have an intern this summer from Mesomaney working with us. And, they jump from department to department. They see how the entire bank works. They can, see if this could be a future for them.
Yeah, so it is a big future for a lot of people. When you think about what you want to be when you grow up, maybe a bank worker doesn't come to mind right away.
No, probably not.
But it should, because there's a huge career opportunity there, isn't there?
Definitely. Yeah.
So, there are a lot of different banking options out there, including online-only banks. How does a community bank stay relevant with all of this stuff?
I believe that, like we mentioned with technology, I feel community banks in general keep up with that. But the other added touch that we have is that human interaction.
Sure.
When you call your local bank, you get a live voice. It could be your neighbor. It could be somebody you know from school. It's somebody that answers the phone immediately.
Yeah.
And if there's ever a situation happening, like you have fraud on your debit card or anything like that, they will make sure the problem is resolved. Where again, if you're just stuck in a queue of a larger institution,
sometimes you hang up because you're tired of waiting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's just that human touch. You can come to our branch locations or our drive-ups, and you know the people. They're there to help you.
Where are your branch locations?
So we have Mesomaney, Arena, Barneveld, Spring Green, Plain, and Richland Center.
Okay, so you've got lots of locations. Folks, you can check them out too online, the pcb.bank, pcb.bank, and find out why you should bank locally. community banks. Now, I know your husband lives in Mineral Point, and I had to ask you before because he works at the Farmers Savings Bank in
Yes,
Mineral
he
Point.
does.
So, and you kind of explained it quite nicely there that the community banks all work together.
Oh, yes.
Because I was going to say, are there things you can tell each other and things you can't tell each other, and like marketing strategies and stuff like that? Or you guys all just work together?
We all work together, yes.
Okay.
And yeah,
That's
we've signed
nice to know.
non-disclosures, so
Yeah,
you know, can't
obviously,
share
yeah.
secrets. But
Yeah.
all community banks we're in it together. We just want
I like that.
everybody to, get
Everybody,
along,
yeah, and
so.
use a community bank. Use a locally owned bank. Bank local. It's the same as shopping local. So you're supporting your community. The money you spend goes back into the community. The money you save goes back to you. And of course, you're using it from a community bank. So shop local with the People's Community Bank. You can we just log on to your website and get the details, or you want us to stop in at your location if we want to come and see you guys at the bank?
Yeah, either or, whatever your
Okay.
preference is. The website has all of our products and features out there. You
Sure.
can meet your banker online. There's a page there where we
Oh.
have bios on everybody. So,
Nice, so you can choose.
Exactly, yes.
I
Yeah,
like
see
that.
who you would work best with.
Right.
But otherwise, yes, we'd love to see you in person too.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And that's actually a true thing. Choose who you're going to work best with, because everybody has a different personality, and one banker might not be yours, but the next one could.
Exactly.
Yeah, we all
Yes.
have different personalities. So match up with somebody that's going to help you, because banking is an important thing. It's a lifelong thing that we're involved with. With investments, just your checking account, savings accounts, all that great stuff. Check them out today. Once again, folks, you can see them online, thepcb.bank, or stop in at any of their locations. You might get to see Quinn. You're in Spring Green,
I'm in Spring
right?
Green. Come
And
see
you'll,
me.
you'll know him with the office with the piano in it. Thanks. Hey, Quinn, thank you so much for joining us today on a Finance Friday.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I hope you guys